We're going to talk about feed sources, and baiting. Most of the seasons throughout the United States are over right now for deer. We've got waterfowl going on. Everybody will be fishing this spring. I myself have already put out a new feeder. I've got a couple more feeders being built. I'm going to try and keep out feed year-round for the deer between feed and protein to try and help out with rack development and also just keep a healthy herd. Now, different states have different rules. Are we allowed to bait? Are we not? So tonight, with my wife's help, we're bringing in Ted Nugent. Okay, we're going to get Ted's opinion on whether you should be allowed to bait. I've got 5 questions for you, Ted, so here goes number 1. What's your opinion on baiting?
Would you go fishing without a worm on your hook? You need to catch the fish out of that body of water so they don't overpopulate and destroy the fish habitat. Would someone please talk about this in a school in America someday? If we don't harvest the surplus deer and the bear and the pronghorn and the pheasants and the geese, and the ducks, if we don't harvest the surplus in a responsible science-based, meaningful pattern based on population dynamics, sustained yield, habitat carrying capacity, dear God, why aren't these truisms, these scientific truisms ever mentioned in the schools? Because they want them to become animal rights activists, because the final agenda of the animal rights activists, if you look in the Bible and watch their actual agenda and activities, they want to slaughter human life.
Okay, Ted, I couldn't agree with you any more with your statement. But you know, worldwide and nationwide, we've got anti-hunters all over the place. They're not going to agree with that. They're not going to agree that by us thinning out them, we're keeping them from overpopulating. What do you have to say to the anti-hunters?
I dare you to debate me on any of this stuff. Because if you don't use proven methodologies, hounds and bait for bear, hounds for mountain lions, bait for deer, and bait for trout and crappie, if you want to debate me, I dare you to come on here.
I really doubt anybody's going to come on here and want to debate you, Ted. But if you disagree with Ted, put it in the comments below. Also, as I said, different states have different rules whenever they consider baiting. I've heard that in Michigan, now you're not allowed to bait unless you buy a permit. I hope that the states don't just try and basically fine people to death in order to allow them to hunt. You know, I love being outdoors. Is that true about Michigan, Ted?
But next year, the Michigan DNR will let you bait deer if you buy a permit. So if you buy a permit for baiting, it doesn't cause disease. But if you haven't got the permit, it could cause it. They are lying, criminal, scam artists that are hurting the hunting tradition. And when you hurt the hunting tradition, those wildlife resources going from the asset column into the liability column. Shame on you.
Well, once again, I couldn't agree with you more, Ted. It looks criminal to me the way some of the states want to charge us. Here in Oklahoma, at some of the state parks, you now have to pay a parking permit. If you want to go fishing, you've already got your licenses, you spent gas getting there, you bought food going out there. Now you got to pay an $8 parking permit before you're allowed to get out of the vehicle. Before you're allowed to walk away from the vehicle. My apologies. But getting out of the vehicle, walking away from the vehicle, it's all the same thing. It's ridiculous. Our taxes are paid for this stuff. So Ted, back to you. I heard Spirit of the Wild is going to be going on the Pursuit channel. What can you tell me about that?
Ted Nugent, Spirit of the Wild, going into our 33rd year, now on Pursuit. And we have more audiences. We have a larger audience and more eyeballs and more enthusiasm. Plus, Dave Watson is our editor and co-producer, and Shemaine's creating these Queen of the Forest episodes. And I got some pretty handsome arrows finding their way into the pump station of unsuspecting creatures and turning them into family-sized portions. So the Spirit of the Wild is perfect hands-on conservation. Thank you, everybody.
I want to thank you so much for being here. I hope my viewers enjoyed it as much as I did. I've actually got a tattoo inspired by you, Ted, right here on my right arm. I think you and I are the only 2 in the world who have this same tattoo. So thanks again for checking in. One quick question before you leave. What do you say to the anti-hunters and to PETA? What do you say to them again?
I'm right. The antis are not only wrong, they're evil.
Perfect, Ted. Thanks for stopping in. Hey, everybody out there. If you enjoyed tonight's show and you want to see some deer like this next year being harvested, I've got a bunch of guns I love to shoot. I like to bow hunt, I like to fish. Subscribe. Comment below what you think. Let me know, and thanks for checking in to this satire event.